Hey everybody, welcome to 2019. I hope you guys had a fantastic holiday season and are looking forward to this year as much as I am. We here at Ayers Productions have got a lot of fantastic opportunities already in the works, and we are super excited about a lot of really cool things that are coming our way, and I can't wait to share with you guys some of that stuff, including some behind the scenes content and just some really cool things that we want to show you guys as far as final projects, and again, behind the scenes looks into some of the things we're working on. So I hope you will continue to follow us. I will put all the links below here in the description where you can keep up with us. You can follow me at Ayers Productions or at JA Photo and Video, which is my exclusive wedding content, and Ayers Productions is my exclusive commercial content. Would love for you to follow me at both of those places. This is considered somewhat of a crossover episode, as I'm going to be sharing commercial work, personal projects, wedding images, and maybe even a few family images. These are my favorite images that I've taken in 2018. I have, the top 9 images that Instagram rates based on likes, and some of these images are in there, but not all of them. But these are personal for me and are my favorites, and I wanted to put this in video format so that I could speak a little bit on the photos and tell you why they are important to me or why I like them so much, and just give a little more insight to them. And I'll try to keep this moving. I've narrowed down the photos as best I can to about 21 photos. So let's dive right in and get started. So this first image, this was a tough one. This was a real tough one. This was a funeral that I photographed and did some video for back in early January. And as a photographer, you never want situations like this to warrant you taking a photo like this, but I was glad that I was able to provide this content for this family. The gentleman that passed away was a firefighter in the area, and he was well loved and respected by everybody in the small community. And the picture you're seeing here is his son. His son's wife is on the left, and the gentleman who passed away, his wife, and this gentleman's mother is on the right. She had just been handed an American flag, and I think this photo just really shows the emotion that they were feeling. It's a hard photo for me to still look at, but I think an important one, and I know one that the family really appreciated having among all the other video content that I provided for them. This was a drone photo of downtown Greenville in the area that I live in South Carolina. And this was just a beautiful sunset in the evening. And I put my drone up in the air pretty quickly and just got a nice skyline shot of the city. It's a great city. I love living here and am so blessed to be living here. I love that we are nestled in the mountains, and if you look off into the distance, you can see those mountains in the background. This image is part of a trip that I took to Germany earlier this year for a wedding, and I've got some of those images included in these images that I'm going to talk about. This was a church in Germany, and when we first got to Germany, I was a little bit hesitant about everything. I was nervous about doing everything that we wanted to do in the time that we had. We were trying to visit a lot of countries in a short amount of time, also while being there mainly to photograph a wedding. So the night we landed in Germany, we also drove to Switzerland, and I saw this church on the side of the road, and I told my traveling buddy Andre, I said, hey, we have to stop and let me take a photo of this. There's nothing super fantastic about the church. It doesn't even look that old, but I saw that on the German countryside, and it just started dawning on me, oh man, we're in Germany, and we're going to be seeing some really cool, amazing sights. And I loved the sky and the clouds. The sun was a little more epic when we first saw the church, but it took us about 10 minutes to get to the church from the highway that we were on. But I still love the way it turned out. And again, looking at this image, it's more of that it gives me that reminder of that feeling that, oh man, we're in Germany and I'm going to get to see really amazing stuff. Like this. This is Lucerne, Switzerland, and we had gotten to Switzerland the night before and went to sleep that night. It was dark when we arrived, so we couldn't really see any of our surroundings. And when we woke up, even in our hotel parking lot, we saw this mountain, which was part of the Swiss Alps. This isn't the view right here from our hotel room, but we still got to see that mountain from our hotel room. And we got up early enough to go down and catch the sunrise down at the water's edge as it began to come up and light up that mountain. And was just a fantastic opportunity to be able to photograph that. And the really cool thing was that I knew that we were going to get to go up to the top of that mountain later in the morning and see another incredible view. And I was just super excited about that. And this is actually that view. This is at the top of the mountain. I have some other photographs where I was outside on the observation deck, but I really liked this photo just because, I don't know, I just liked the idea of being behind the glass in this observatory, and it almost felt like a view from like a James Bond villain headquarters where they're somewhere in the Alps. And I don't know, I really liked the way this image came out. This image is from the wedding that I went to Germany to photograph. And the photo that I actually delivered to the couple was a slightly different version of this. The bride is actually facing her dad, but I wanted to show you guys this one because this was my favorite. There was no planned first look at all. The dad was up there the whole time as everybody got ready, but he just happened to turn around as she came out. She wasn't even paying attention to him, and I saw this look, this totally unplanned look of like amazement at the way his daughter looked. And I had to, this moment right here that you're actually seeing is me leaning into the daughter saying, hey, you might want to say something to your dad. She didn't even know he saw her. So this holds a special place for me just because I love capturing that raw emotion of people, not staged, not planned or anything, just that moment. And this was one of those moments. This was from the church of that wedding in Germany, and I wanted to show you this just because it was an old German church in a small old German village, and just represents a really cool opportunity to be able to go photograph a wedding in Germany like I did, and just it was a great opportunity. I also got to photograph that couple in a castle in Germany, which, I mean, who gets to do that? I mean, who can say they photographed a couple in an abandoned castle in Germany? And so I know nothing about this picture really says Germany, but it's still very old construction, stones, and the archway, and I just love everything about this photo. The light coming in, lighting them up. I love it, and I love the fact that I got to go to Germany and have this experience. This was one of our travel days after the wedding. We drove around. We hit 4 different countries, I believe, the day after the wedding, which was our last day, full day in Europe. We left Germany that morning and drove from Germany to Luxembourg, to Belgium, to France, and then back to Germany. And this location was in Belgium, and this was one of the sites of the Battle of the Bulge during World War II. And this was a really unique site because there are still foxholes all around this area where soldiers were you know kind of camped in, defending themselves and their troops and the land and everything, just seeking shelter, taking cover. I mean, this was a legitimate battlefield right here that you're seeing. And it was a really humbling experience just walking around and imagining kind of what was happening, what was going on. I can't quite wrap my brain around it, but nonetheless, it was quite an experience to be able to stand right here and see this. This is a photo that I am really proud of. I am not a photographer that generally gushes over my own work. In fact, that's one of the things I really don't like when I see other photographers online just talking about like how good their image is and how perfect everything is. It's weird for me to be so high on my own image, and I'm usually not. Except for this one. I saw this one right after I took it out of camera, and I just thought, oh my goodness, there is something special here. Believe it or not, this is just a prom photo. These are two kids about to go to their prom. But for me, it looks like a magazine spread. It's so classy and elegant, and my gosh, I mean, these two kids could be models, and I was so thrilled at this image, and I'm still so pumped about this image and the way it turned out. This was probably the coldest night of my entire life. This was in April, and was up above Asheville. I went with a buddy of mine who is a very experienced Milky Way photographer, and we spent some time trying to photograph the Milky Way. Now, we were hoping to be outside a lot longer than we actually were. We were only able to stay outside maybe 10 to 15 minutes because it was so unbelievably cold. The temperature wasn't too terribly bad, but the wind chill was just mind-numbingly cold. And so we were only out there for a few minutes, and I got this shot, and it's by no means the best Milky Way shot ever. The guy I was with takes just unreal, phenomenal Milky Way shots. But for me, an unexperienced photographer as far as the Milky Way and stars go, I was thrilled when I took this photo, and I still am thrilled. I've actually got this photo printed on canvas in my office because it's just, again, like all these other photos, it's not so much about the actual photo, but the memory that the photo represents and the experience that the photo represents that I got to have. So this is quite special to me. This, again, I go back to just raw emotion. I was photographing. I was doing video for this wedding, but when I do video, I like to get a few stills for thumbnails or social media sharing or whatever the case may be. And this was a moment where the photographer was getting a lot of posed shots, and they were great shots. And I guess you could say I sort of posed them, but not really. I basically just said, hey guys, just ignore us for a minute, have a moment, and just laugh with each other. And the bride just got this great, like, genuine laugh. This isn't her necessarily reacting to what I said. This was her just being in the moment. She was so thrilled all day with everything going on. This was probably one of my favorite brides that I've worked with because everything made her happy and excited. And so I just love this photo because it's just them chilling and relaxing after their ceremony. This is one of my favorites, again, because of the story it represents. This is a gentleman named Tommy, and he is an employee at a local restaurant here in Greenville called Golden Brown Delicious. And Tommy is a part of a program that will go and help find jobs for individuals with conditions like autism or Down syndrome, and they help place these individuals into good jobs, and they help to continue to train them at their job and also train the employers on how to work with individuals who are dealing with conditions like Tommy has. And it's just a really cool thing. We actually produced a video about Tommy and about the organization that he's a part of, and I'll include a link in the details below where you can go check that video out, and I hope you do because it's a fantastic story. This was a really cool opportunity to work with a marketing firm here in Greenville who one of their clients is a business that works on private jets. And so I got to go out and photograph this amazing jet with this amazing sky in the background. And there's not much more to it than that. But I mean, who gets to photograph private jets and make them look like this? It was really exciting. And I'm going to be doing more work with these guys in 2019. So I'm really pumped about that and getting to do that. This is a simple photo from a family vacation that we took to Hilton Head over the summer, and this is my son, but I mean, man, I'm a sucker for silhouettes, and him just running around in the water represents a moment to me where he wasn't afraid of the water anymore. You know, a year ago at this time, he wouldn't have run around like this. He was a little more frightened of the water. And now he's just freely playing around in that, and just that silhouette with the sun behind him. This will always remain one of my favorite images of him. Another wedding shot where it's just pure raw emotion. What we had here, what we had the wedding party do, we had the bride and groom stand still. We had the wedding party back up and then run towards the bride and groom and try to, you know, dogpile on them. But we said, don't knock them down, don't make the bride fall, especially, but just kind of, engulf around them. And everybody, when they first start, they're kind of like, oh, okay, this is weird, let's run. And they're very careful. But usually when they get to that moment where they're right there at the bride and groom, everybody relaxes because they realize, oh, we're not running anymore. Everybody's safe. Now we can just goof around and laugh at what we just did. And that's this moment right here. And again, it's my favorite moments, just seeing people react and enjoy themselves without being too staged. You gotta love the drone shots. I am becoming more and more a fan of drone work. This is a listing video shoot and photography shoot that I did for one of my clients, and I just love the fall colors that are popping. I love the road that's kind of almost completely encompassing that house, and it was just it's beautiful fall weather. The sky was a very dark, murky gray, but it really helped for shooting straight down because you've got that nice even light across these trees, and it's just a really cool fall look that I really dug. This was another fall setting in Gorges State Park. I got up that morning to go photograph the sunrise, but when I got there, the only really good place to photograph the sunrise had an obstructed view. There were lots of power lines and power poles and just nothing that I really wanted to include in my photos. So I walked around, I walked on some trails, and I saw this area, and it was just these fall leaves on the ground, the colors coming in. It was beautiful, it was gorgeous. So I photographed that, and I still really love this photo just because it just begins the colors, the nature, everything about it. I'm just really excited about. Yet another fall photo that I took from my drone. If you look about center frame, you see the little stretch of road. We're somewhere over there behind some of those trees flying the drone, and this was another photo. This is near Cashers, North Carolina, and I got my drone up to this vantage point and I saw it, and I was just amazed at the beauty that's there. And I'm not trying to reference my photo as being beautiful. I mean, all I did was take a drone up and press a couple of buttons. But I mean, the beauty that's already there, the beauty that God created that's there is what's fantastic and spectacular. And I'm just thrilled that I was at the right place at the right time to be able to capture this color, the clouds back there. It's a fantastic view to me, and super pumped that I was able to get that. This is a view. This is a very well-known hotel in Greenville, the Poinsett Hotel, and it's one of these hotels that is photographed a lot, especially for weddings. If you are getting married at that hotel, you can go up actually on the roof and get a shot with the sign behind you, and it's really cool, really picturesque. This is a view I actually hadn't seen before. This was a fall morning. I was meeting up with a buddy of mine to take some fall photos and waiting around for them to arrive. And I was just walking around a parking lot, kind of looking and seeing what stood out to me as something that would be cool to shoot. And I saw this view. And this is one of those things that just goes to show, like, always be observant where you are, because you never know when you're going to see a really unique or different perspective. This was in the parking lot of a Staples store that I go to all the time. Never really paid attention to this kind of cool view that you've got the hotel sandwiched between these trees. So I was really excited when I saw that, and I was able to photograph that. For my last photo here, I'm going to show you a photo of a gentleman named Nick Theodore, who is a local to Greenville, very well known in the area. He's in his 90s, still gets around like he's in his 20s, and there's some really cool things coming with Nick that I don't want to spoil yet because we're still working on them. but I hope you'll stay tuned because he's a part of a really cool project that we're working on here at Airs Productions, and I'm going to be really excited to show you guys some of that really soon. But we took this portrait just a few weeks ago, just about mid-December, as we were working on a project with him. So that's something that's coming in 2019 that we are really excited and pumped about and can't wait to share with you. So I will leave you with that. Those are my favorite photos of 2018, at least the ones I could narrow down enough to have somewhat of a short episode, even though this seems like it's probably over 20 minutes at this point. I'm really excited about 2019, about what's to come. There's a lot of really cool, exciting things in the works, and I think it's just going to be a fantastic year, and I'm excited for you guys to come along with us. Like I said earlier, I would love for you to like and subscribe to our content. You can check us out at Airs Productions or JA Photo and Video, and we're on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook and all those other places. I'll include all the links in the description below. So check us out, and we will be bringing more content to you very soon, and can't wait to do that. All right, bye-bye.